And we're live. Well, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, I greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This is a bad loss, man. This one hurt. This is a game Lakers should have won. This is a game that, in my opinion, you can't lose this game. I understand you were rusty. I understand, that like Luka had his struggles and stuff like that, and now Austin Reeves gets ejected and all that. You just came back from a hiatus and all that. This is a game. I mean, you were up double figures a large majority of the game, and then they just like ran off on you, and then you came back and you just missed closeouts right on a corner three. After Luka gets the rebound and goes back in, the defense just completely got lax. We were actually solid defensively in the first half, and then just completely just gave it up defensively in the second half. It's just, this was a bad loss. We cannot have these kinds of losses. Now you got a back-to-back against Portland tomorrow, right? And who knows if Luka and LeBron even play tomorrow, right? Like this was a bad loss. All right. Again, I understand you got a little vacation, you got a little hiatus, right? But this, I excuse the Utah loss because again, they were thinking about tomorrow rather than today. This is a game, again, you were winning a large majority of this game. You're winning this game a very, vast majority, right? That you need better balance. It's so frustrating watching this team just beat themselves. That's what they did. They beat themselves. They completely botched this game in every way possible. They even, cleaned the turnovers and stuff up from the first half. They had, 9 turnovers in the first quarter? So they even cleaned some of the stuff up and just couldn't get stops. Defense just completely laxed. It was just a bad game, right? It was just not good by any stretch of the imagination. We had how many turnovers total? We had 18 turnovers total. So we had 9 in the first half and then another 9 the rest of the way, which, isn't good, period. But, that was bad. That was terrible. It's so frustrating watching this team just beat themselves in a game that they should have won. You can't lose these games. You can't. You cannot afford to drop games like this. Games that you're supposed to win. And Portland's 6-0 at home in the last 6 home games. So Portland's been balling out at home. And who knows if Luka and LeBron even play. It's just these are games that you got to do better. You got to make sure you're pulling these out. It is so incredibly frustrating watching this team just be terrible. It really is. It is frustrating. But we'll dive into all the super chats and all the regular questions here in a second. Let's break down the players, and then we'll jump right into the chat. It's just so frustrating. Rui Hachimura shot the ball. Everyone shot the ball terrible. But Rui, one thing I do like about Rui, I liked he was moving without the basketball better this game than he has in a long time. And he did a really good job. And I don't know why he went away from it. They did a really good job of it in the first half of having Rui just seal against a smaller defender. And we were eating him alive, right? Literally, half of his points came from that. And then I don't know why we just stopped going away from that. The Lakers just decided to do that. Obviously he choked those free throws, which is incredibly frustrating. This is a very different game if he doesn't choke those free throws. It's one thing to miss one. He missed both, right? He missed both free throws because now LeBron doesn't have to take 2 Hail Mary threes, which, he got good looks. He should have knocked those down. LeBron is what? He's 0-30 or something like that now. And crunch time shots to either tie or take the lead, which I think is pretty interesting. But again, Rui, you gotta at least give me one of those, man. I understand that you don't want to be in that spot. He's not really the guy you want on the line in that moment. But you were 2 of 2 earlier than that, and you just choked. That was just a choke job if I've ever seen one. I did like he gave us 8 rebounds. LeBron 10 of 22. 4 of 11. 2 of those were those kind of Hail Marys at the end, except for one of the, he was wide open on that first one, which is crazy. They left him wide open. And he ended up missing that one. Gabe ends up securing the rebound, and then he misses the kind of like one-footed falling away one, which I think he could have just squared up and taken it. But he had 7 rebounds, 11 assists, steal, 2 blocks. He only had 2 turnovers. He took care of the basketball, 26 points. Jackson Hayes, 4 or 5. All his points come from lobs. Rebounding the basketball, he gave you 4 rebounds, 2 steals, right, 8 points. Austin Reeves got ejected. He wasn't very good when he was in the game, period. Didn't shoot the ball well, was getting beat on defense. So, I mean, the momentum changed when he left, for sure. But, I mean, unless he turned it around in that quarter and a half, I think he would have helped in the fourth quarter, for sure, right? Because it would have given us another guy that could just generate some offense. So I definitely think we missed him in the fourth quarter, but he didn't have like a great game where it's like, oh man, we were really missing him. Luka shot the ball terrible. I've seen a lot of Luka slander. I don't get it. I think it's silly, right? The last thing we should be worried about is his offense, right? And he came up huge when you needed him. Literally, his only offensive rebound was a missed putback to take the lead, right? Like, I thought he was solid defensively. He's never going to be a great defender. He got blown by on occasion, but I thought he was at least being active defensively. He was trying on the defensive end. Right? That's all you want from him. Just at least be active. Offensively, like I said, he was poor. 5 of 18 from the floor, 1 of 9 from 3-point range. He had 5 turnovers in the first and then just like cleaned it up entirely. So that was great. I really love that he cleaned that up. 11 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal, 14 points. Again, not a great shooting night from him, but he gave you everything else, literally everything else. I don't understand the slander. The guy's played 3 games in 7 weeks, literally 3 games in 7 weeks. Can we let him play 10 games, get his legs under him? It's just more frustrating because we lost, right? If we would have won this game, it would have been easier to kind of like defend it, like, but now everyone's going to be like, well, the Lakers lost, right? So it's going to be even more overblown. But I just don't understand the Luka slander already. Like, can we let the guy get a couple legs under him? Can we get a couple games? Right? The guy's played 3 games in 7 weeks. Literally, in 2 months, the guy's played 3 games. And we're expecting him to shoot the lights out. Dorian Finney-Smith, 4 or 7 from 3. He was one of our real bright spots. I would have liked to get him some looks towards the end of the game. I know LeBron is your guy, but Dorian Finney-Smith was the only guy that really was hitting him with regularity. Right? So it would have been nice to see him do that. Gabe Vincent started off hot. He made his first 2 and then just like couldn't make a bucket after that. Frustrating. Alex Len played 10 minutes. Didn't really give you anything in that 10 minutes. But yeah, outside of that, not a good game at all. But it's just, yeah, it is rough. It is rough. But anyway, let's dive into all the super chats, all the regular chat questions, all that stuff. Real quick, we gotta bounce back. I mean, you have to win tomorrow now. Now tomorrow becomes a must win. Right? Because you can't afford to lose. This was a makeup game, but still, like, this is a game you had to win. And you didn't win it. You botched it. You blew it. Right? Like, we cannot afford to lose, go on a 3-game losing streak to start. You only got 29 games now left. Right? And I was hoping you'd only lose 12 of those games. Right? Now, hopefully, by the time we get into the tough stretch, hopefully by then, we've figured it out with like Luka's in the swing of things, and guys like that, or LeBron and them have figured it out. This is just again, it's just such a bad loss because you were in control of the game pretty much the large majority, like 2.5 quarters, you were in control, and then you just gave it up, and then just got ran through after that. I mean, they went on like a 23-10 run or something crazy like that, or 23-7 run or something like that. Like, that's just against the Hornets. That's inexcusable. Right? That's literally what that is. But now Lakers are full game back at Houston for the 4 seed. They're a game and a half ahead of the Clippers. The Clippers win. Now they're half a game. You can't afford to lose that game tomorrow. You have to win tomorrow. Right? Like, you can't, because everyone else is probably going to win because that's how it works. Everyone else is going to win. Lakers lose back-to-back. All of a sudden, you're in the 6th seed. Right? Like, can't have that. Cannot have it. I'm furious because this is a game that they should have won. That's what frustrates me. You cannot blow these type of games. If the Lakers just like had a bad night and Charlotte shot the lights out, That's one thing. Fine. It happens. Life happens, whatever. That's not what happened. You were in control of that game 2/3 of the game and then just fell apart, right? Against the Hornets, right? There's no reason the Hornets should be going on 23-7 runs or whatever it is. That to me is inexcusable, right? Like, it's just this again. This was just a really bad loss by the Lakers. But anyway, real quick, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, and let's get into all of the chat here. Dan on a back-to-back night too. Yes, and that's what's so frustrating. You had to win this game because we don't even know. Like, Luka and LeBron might sit tomorrow, right? I mean, Reeves got some extra rest, so hopefully he balls out tomorrow. But yeah, this was a tough loss, absolutely tough loss. Why would LeBron take the first shot, man? I understand the second one, but man, this is literally the 100th time this has happened where we needed someone to tie or win the game. LeBron takes it. I mean, LeBron was wide open. I mean, look, he has been terrible in crunch time. Terrible. Like, no ands, ifs, buts about it. The guy is like 0 of like 30 or something crazy. I mean, he was like 0 of 26 a couple games ago, and he's had several moments since then. So he's got to be 0 of 25, 0 of 30, whatever, in crunch time, in shots to take the lead or tie. I know he hit that 3 right before, but again, that's not to take the lead or tie. The shot that he just had was to take the lead or tie. LeBron has been terrible in the clutch. Terrible. He's been it for like a couple of years now. And so I get the frustration. He was wide open, right? Like, he's supposed, like, you got to take that. Right? If you're him, you're wide open, right? I wish he would have taken, because he could have taken a step or two in, right? Like, I just think he didn't realize he was wide that open and was just like, oh, like, I don't want them closing out. So he just shot it, right? Clock is winding down, all of that. But I mean, I would have liked him to maybe take a step in, right, rather than like from the logo. But yeah, I mean, he was wide open. I can't really knock him too much on that. Ref is soft. AF for that ejection on Reeves. Yeah, I didn't like the ejection on Reeves. If you want to give him the first tech, sure, it's fine. But to eject him in the middle of the game, right? I mean, it changed the momentum without a doubt. I mean, Lakers should have won without Reeves. Like, again, Reeves wasn't like balling out for the Lakers, but you should have, again, figured it out, right? Like, you still should have won the game. But I agree. Like, that was terrible eject. You can't eject the guy for that, right? You missed the call, right? If you didn't, like, if he had reason to gripe, he had reason to be upset, right? You missed the call, right? So, I don't know. It's frustrating. It is frustrating. Yeah, this was a bad loss, without a doubt. Yeah, I believe the face. Luka is out of shape. That's why they traded him. Yeah, Luka had a rough game. Luka will be fine. Again, let's give him more than 3 games in 7 weeks. Everyone not named LeBron needs to get off this team. Again, relax. Let's let Luka get more than 3 games in 7 weeks. Dude, this was tough. It's going to take a few games for Luka to get in rhythm. Chemistry takes time. Be patient. We clearly need a big though. Yeah, I mean, look, I have been very, like, trying to get everyone to understand there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be hiccups. It's going to take guys a little while to figure it out. But you shouldn't have lost this game, right? I even said that Lakers are probably going to lose a couple games that they shouldn't have lost, right? They'll probably win a couple games that they should have won, but they're going to lose a couple games that they should have won that they lost. This can't be one of them, right? Like, again, you were in full. If this was a tight game, going back and forth from the beginning, and they just kind of pulled away a little bit, fine. But that's not what this was. This was like, you were in full control of that game, 2/3 or 3/4 of it, right? Because 2.5 quarters essentially, and then you just got ran through from there. Right? It's just like, Lakers struggle against the weak Hornets. Yeah, that's not great. Rui, he can make free throws. The guy's like 80%. He just choked. There's a difference. Like, he choked at the line. He was 2 of 2 previous to that. 80% free throw shooter. You got to at least give me one. Right? It's one thing to miss one of them. It's another thing, like, you got to give me one. You give me one, that's a very different game. Right? Because now, what? If you give me one, LeBron's 3 ties it. Right? So now you're looking to go, now LeBron, if he instead of taking that 3, he could have just put the ball on the deck and went to the basket. Now you're not worried about them fouling. It changes the game. It changes the game. So, let's see. This was a horrible loss. Luka is just rusty. but my multi got screwed over when Reeves got ejected. Luka couldn't shoot, and Lakers lost. Yeah, this was just a bad game all around. Yeah, he missed both free throws, both of them. Right, like I said, you got to give me at least one, man, at least one. Let's see. I miss Max and AD's defense. Let's see. Those two missed free throws ended that game. Yeah, that was not good. You got, like I said, you got to at least give me one. Our defense was terrible in the second. We were good in for like I said, like 2/3 of that game we were great, right? Like I said, guys were getting after it. They were rotating guys. Like there were moments, right? You know, like Luka had a couple blow bys. He was getting blown by a couple times, especially when he got into foul trouble. He kind of laxed on defense. I thought he was much better early on. Reeves had a couple blow bys, right? Like you had some lapses, but for the most part, they were fine defensively. And then they just like it just stopped. Right? They were just getting beat on rotations, everything. It was bad. Another Luka masterclass. LeBron started playing aggressive during the fourth, but unfortunately, LeBron the clutch shot. Rui sold free throws, and Luka can't hit open threes. Denver's better. What about your guy Reeves? Right, you mentioned everybody but your guy Reeves, who played terrible and got ejected. Right, maybe we win that game if it wasn't for Reeves. Come on, if you're gonna criticize, you gotta. The one guy you defend. I don't think I've ever heard you say a bad thing about Reeves. And you always talk to me about, being unfair and stuff, right? Like Reeves was terrible in the game that he started to play and then got ejected with a quarter and a half left in a game where we needed him, right? Like it's okay. Again, it's okay to be critical. LeBron needs to be off ball more. Not that he's worse than Luka, but Luka doesn't do much off ball. Got to figure this out, boys. I mean, he had to be more on ball because Luka couldn't score to save his life. If Luka's cooking, it's probably very different, right? Probably a very different scenario, right? Can we agree that Reeves is the glue guy of this team and our most important player? No, I'm sorry. Look, if you want to say Reeves is great, is a good basketball player, stuff like that, that's fine. But like, let's not pretend Reeves was killing it earlier, right? Let's not pretend like Reeves was just like, man, Reeves was dominating the Hornets and got ejected. No, he was cheeks out there too, like everybody, right? Again, like come on, man. I understand wanting to stick up for your mans, right? I understand that's your guy. You wanna feel like you're looking out for him. But come on, did it change momentum? Yes, I will give you that. The momentum definitely shifted when he got ejected. But he did that to himself, right? Like you gotta keep your composure, right? Like again, like let's be honest here. Went 21-24, 24-1 run in the third and fourth quarter, yeah, which is ridiculous. The Hornets cannot have that. Don't forget, AR ejection was huge. Yeah, absolutely. Changed the momentum. Changed the momentum on this team. Lost back-to-backs against awful teams, Jazz and Hornets. My goodness, yeah, that's not great. You can't really afford that. We literally can't have LaMelo Ball screaming like he's him when he's been on a losing franchise the entire career, and yet the Lakers can't even score 100 against the Hornets. Come on. I feel it. It's frustrating, man. Rui missed both free throws. Luka can't shoot the three, save his life. AR got kicked out. This team, def getting first round. Again, let's be patient. I understand the frustration. I understand it was a bad loss. It wasn't great. I get that. But again, Luka's played 3 games in 7 weeks. He's on a brand new team. He's trying to fit in, right? Like Austin Reeves gets ejected. The team's just like nobody can hit a shot outside of Dorian Finney-Smith to save his life, right? Like again, let's let things unfold. I understand the Chicken Little, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Like I say, the pendulum swing. We can't be overreactive, right? We can't be too reactionary. I'm frustrated too. This was not a good game at all. This was a bad loss. I get that. But, again, we gotta keep things in perspective, right? Like, if you want to be like, hey, this was a really bad game. Lakers were terrible this game. Sure, I'm with you. 100%. This was a bad game. But, to be like, oh, we're going to be a first-round exit and all this, like, who knows, right? I mean, maybe it doesn't work. But can we let some stuff play itself out first? Cosman coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Screw the NBA. They want us to lose. F these refs and the weak ass ejection. Over a few words. I can't help but curse, man. I'm sorry. I get it. Look, that ejection was terrible, right? You change the momentum. You can't eject the guy over that, right? Like, again, give him the tech. You want to give him the tech? Fine, right? I still think that's a little soft, but whatever, right? He threw his arms. He made the aggressive gesture to the ref. Fine. Give him the tee. Be done with it, right? Move on. But to then go, why? Like, the ejection was terrible. That was terrible. It was awful. You can't eject the man in a game like this, right? Like, again, it changed everything. Like I said, Austin Reeves wasn't like Lakers should have still won this game even without Reeves. So this was not like wasn't like, oh, Lakers, Reeves got ejected and that's why the Lakers lost. Right? Lakers were in this game. They had the lead with like 45 seconds left and blew it. Right? Like, so again, it's more than that, but it didn't help, and it was just a bad ejection. It was terrible. You cannot have that. You cannot have that ejection. Can't afford it. All right, like it's soft. It's a terrible, terrible ejection. Snakes coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Luka's out of rhythm. He'll take time. I'm not worried about Luka. Last thing I'm worried about is his offense. Right? I'm worried about everything else. Right, like turnovers, he cleaned it up. Right, rebounding the basketball, he did great. Making plays, he did great. Came up clutch down the stretch, got a huge rebound, offensive rebound, put back, and got us the lead. Right, like we didn't hold up our end on the other end to get the stop. Right, like Luka's fine. Right, the last thing I'm worried about is his offense. Even before the injury, right, Luka was killing. He was averaging 28 points a game. Right, like, do we give him more than 3 games on a brand new team in 7 weeks before we start grabbing our pitchforks and being like, Luka's trash, right? Like that's the only thing. Like the type of slander that I've seen is wild. It's like, dude, the guy just got here. Like, it makes us look bad as Laker fans. Like, makes us look terrible. You know who'd love to have this Luka right now? Dallas, right? Like, and then what's gonna happen? Luka's gonna come back. Luka's gonna be great in like 3 games, and he's gonna get back to Luka, and then all those same people are gonna be like, I'm really glad we had Luka, right? Like, no, sit down. You were like, like, again, it's one thing to be critical. It's another thing to be like, oh, we lost the trade. This was trash. Luka's not the same. Dallas was right. Like, again, like, if you want to be like, man, Luka's having his struggles, fine. That's one thing. It's one thing to be critical. It's another thing to be overreactionary. Like, it's silly. It's like, come on, man. It's wild. But Dustin coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I live in Portland, and I'm going to the game tomorrow, and I'm scared that if LeBron sits, Lakers are going to get that what Luka looked like. Again, Luka, I'm not worried about Luka. His offense, Luka was fine. Played defense, he rebounded the basketball, he made plays, came up huge when we needed him most. Right? Like, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about, his offense is the one thing that was like the struggles, right? Like, that should be the least of our concerns, right? Luka's offense is what he's built his career on, right? I'm not worried about his offense. He was still getting to his spots. He was still getting his shot off. He just wasn't hitting them, right? It'd be one thing if he wasn't able to get to his spots, or he wasn't able to beat guys off the dribble or get the dribble penetration or any of those things, right? That's very different, right? If Luka is having struggle, if Luka's struggling to get his shots off, that's where, hey, this might be a problem. He didn't have problems getting his shots off. He just couldn't hit his shot. He just needs to find his rhythm. He'll be fine. As far as LeBron sitting tomorrow, I think that's a real possibility, and that worries me too. And I am worried that the Lakers might end up losing that game too. You can't afford it. Right? Hopefully Reeves comes out, balls out with a vengeance, right? Because he's frustrated and upset. So I'm hoping that Reeves kind of shows us like, hey, you know what? Bad game, back-to-back bad games, by the way. Let's see. Cosmin coming out $2 super chat. Austin didn't do it to himself. The rest were soft. I mean, it was terrible. Again, he did do it to himself, right? Like, he's the one that threw which is an aggressive act towards the ref, which is a technical. That's the rule book, right? They have to call that. I don't mind the technical. I mind the ejection. Right? Like, the ejection, like, Reeves has got to know, like, all right, like, oh, this guy's soft. Let me go walk away, right? Like, he wanted the tech. You got the tech. That's fine, right? It happens. Get your tech, right? But you got to, again, I agree that was soft. It was a terrible call. You can't eject him after that. but it's also awareness. You got to understand the awareness. You got your tech, right? You told him to go F himself. You told him you're banning his mom, like whatever you said. Fine, beautiful. You got the T. Got to walk away after that. Like that's my only thing, right? I hate the ejection, right? But that's what these refs do this all the time, right? Like again, this is like the norm. Dude, Jason Tatum got ejected. What was it, like a year ago? Last year, I think, got ejected from a game for screaming at Al Horford. Literally, Luka got ejected from a game 2 years ago, yelling at Maxi Kleber. Right? Like these refs are soft. These refs are terrible. But you gotta understand. Okay, I got my tech. Let me clear myself out. I hate it. I'm with you, Coswin. 100%. I'm with you on the frustration. But it's gotta have better awareness. Gotta have better awareness. I get tired of the over-reliance on the three. Yeah, I mean, it's a new NBA, right? Especially when you're not hitting. I would prefer you stop jacking up 23s. Again, Luka's trying to shoot himself out of a rhythm, out of a funk, right? We've seen it from LeBron. LeBron, it wasn't that long ago. LeBron was having 0-9 games. Remember, he had that stretch where he was like 0-21 from three, right? And then he just figured it out, right? Luka's trying to shoot himself out of the slump, which I don't like. I didn't like it when LeBron did it, but I get it, right? I understand it's frustrating, but I think overall, again, it's a terrible loss. I don't want to undersell the loss. This was a terrible loss, but I think we'll be fine. All right, it's just we got to give it a couple games. We got to be patient. I know that's not really our fan base really isn't the best at patience, but we got to be patient. This is just, again, very bad loss by the Lakers. But I appreciate the super chats. Let's get back into the regular chat until some more super chats trickle in here. Luka is a generational cone on defense. I've never seen anything like it. Luka was fine defensively early on. Then he got into foul trouble, and he started getting lax. He was fine defensively. He was keep staying in front of guys. He wasn't getting beat off the dribble regularly. All of that. Rui missed both free throws. Luka can't shoot the three to save his life. AR got kicked out. This team getting first rounded. I already got that question. I already answered that one. Portland is balling. Yes, Portland is balling right now. They're 6-0 in their last 6 home games. So we had such good chemistry. I don't know why we rooted. Because you have Luka, 25-year-old superstar. Chemistry is great, but there's arguably a better chance now we win the championship than we will. Like chemistry will be fine. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something to me. Back-to-back loss against worst teams, Jazz and Hornets. Portland might upset this team tomorrow again. I hope you don't lose to Portland. The Jazz loss, I was willing to write off. I'm still willing to write off. This loss, no. This was terrible loss. Oh my God, relax. At least Luka's on the court playing, right? LeBron, come on. Although Luka, what happened? Maybe he just made a mistake. Again, relax. It's been 3 games. It's hilarious. Not even you believe that. Look, I'm gonna keep all these receipts. I don't want to see any of you talking about Luka's the GOAT or anything like that when he figures it out. If having Reeves comes off the bench means he can have 70% control of that offense, I'm all for it because Reeves had the offensive flowing beautifully, and then comes Luka. Reeves is going to be better. Like what JJ did was he took out LeBron and Luka and let Reeves run the offense. They scored 3 points during that stretch, by the way. But I do like that better. I do like that better. Let's see. Dorian Finney-Smith had to leave his defender wide open to help Luka out, shaking my head. That's not what happened at all. Gabe Vincent missed the guy. It was the guy in the corner that hit the three. They were on the other side of the action. And their entire defense was to trap LaMelo and get the ball out of his hands. They did it literally 4 straight possessions. So I don't know what you're watching. I don't know if you were watching a different game. That's not what happened at all. Like literally, Luka came, they switched, right? They got Luka on LaMelo, and 4 straight possessions, Dorian Finney-Smith came as the help defender. And they trapped him, got the ball out of his hands. And then one time they did the little cut, and then he was able to kind of get into the defense and lay it up. That time that the guy hit the three, Dorian Finney-Smith was literally on the other side of the court. His man was the guy at the top of the center key. The ball swung all the way to the corner, and the guy hit the three. Gabe Vincent was the one that was the trail man that was going out. That man was either Gabe Vincent's or I think it was Rui's, because Rui would have been the corner man. Gabe is the one that trailed over. So, correction, it wasn't Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent was the one that closed out. It was Rui's corner man. So, Rui didn't go to the corner man and left that wide open. So, again, that's not what happened. Again, four straight. Again, go watch the film again if you need to. Literally 4 straight possessions. Goswin, Tyler, I get the first tech. He walked away after. Yeah, but he kept talking. I mean, even because again, I was watching the game. Even who was it, Stu? Even Stu was like, oh, he kept talking. He must have said something bad, right? Because he was walking away, yeah, but he was still chirping. Again, I don't like the ejection. I'm not trying to defend the ejection. I'm just saying Reeves has to be smarter in that spot. Like it hurt the game, right? Like we might have won with Reeves. Again, I don't think we lost this game because Reeves got ejected. We still had the lead late. You still should have closed that out and finished it. But again, like you got to have better awareness, right? You got to understand the ref was soft and you got to let it go. Cool whip. What's going on? I appreciate you coming out with the $5 subject. Thank you so much. Hey man, big fan. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Do you think Luka and AR can coexist together post LeBron if we have 2 solid elite defenders in the starting lineup with them? I definitely have my concerns with it, if I'm being honest. Because AR, I've talked about this and I've broken this down a lot. Austin Reeves is best when he's allowed to be in attack mode, right? Which means having the ball in his hands, being aggressive. He's not great off ball, and he's not a great shooter, right? He has these like ebbs and flows, right? You'll see games where he's like 7 of 9 from 3, and then you have games where he's like 2 of 9 from 3, and it just kind of averages out to like 36%, right? Like that's the problem with Reeves is that he's best with the ball, right? That's why usually he has his best games when LeBron or AD are out of the game because, he gets the opportunity to be on ball, gets the opportunity to play on ball, gets the opportunity to be aggressive, right? Because you need his offense, right? So he gets to kind of play the role that he's best in and most comfortable. I don't like Luka and AR in the starting unit. Do I think that they can coexist? Technically, sure, but is it good enough for you to win? Probably not. I think AR should be the 6th man if you're going to keep him, right? I think in reality, right? Because the problem is like it's similar to what you had when like we lost to Denver in was it 2023 season or whatever where we got swept. You had D'Lo and you had Reeves, and they just targeted those two, right? But you had Jared Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis. Lakers were literally the best defense, but it didn't matter because you had the 2 weak entry points, and it's at the top of the key, right? So you had teams just put them in action. Luka might be worse defensively than D'Lo, which again I thought he was solid this game. He's never going to be great. He's never going to be elite, but he's pretty bad defense, right? I don't want to like oversell his defense. So the problem that I have is on the defensive side, they're probably getting cooked. So you need an excellent rim protector. You need like Walker Kessler down there as a rim protector, and then 2 like very good defensive pieces to kind of offset and supplement that. My other concern is I don't think the offense between those two, because I think it'll be a little clunky, the offense between those two, I don't think will offset their lack of defense, right? And that's where my problem is. So I think either A, they're going to have to bring Reeves off the bench at some point. Will they do it this season? I don't know. Or they're going to have to trade him for a better like fit and solid piece alongside him. Because again, you need to get the right guy. And I mean, Reeves has moments where he's great, but the problem is the inconsistencies, right? Like Kyrie is just better. He's more consistent, right? So like Luka and Kyrie can coexist out there and get away with it because Kyrie can reach those levels, right? Austin Reeves can reach those levels at times, but it's usually when he's like the second guy and it's not on a regular basis. We've seen games where, like an Anthony Davis or LeBron missed the game and he just didn't show up, right? It was other guys. So again, there's always a path, and if you get the right pieces around, Reeves and Luka, but is Reeves a $30 to $40 million guy? That's something else you have to keep in mind too, because he's due not this year, right? Coming up, the following season, he'll be an unrestricted free agent. So that's something the Lakers got to keep in mind, right? Are the Lakers really, because teams are going to pay him, 30 to 40 million at least, right? Especially just to get him off the Lakers. So that's the thing too that the Lakers are going to have to figure out, right? Is he worth the money? I don't think he's worth that much. He is on an excellent contract. If you could keep him for like 20 million, I'd probably keep him. Maybe 22 million, I'd probably keep him and then figure it out. But problem is, I don't know if you'll be able to do that. But appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let's see. Again, come on. You're better than that. Come on, dude. You're better than that, Ozzy. Let's go. Come on. Like, dude, it's been 3 games on a brand new team, and he missed 7 weeks. He's played 3 games in 7 weeks. 3 games in 7 weeks, right? Come on. We got to be smarter than that. We got to be better than that. Let's see. Lakers are 26th in defense with Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis wasn't helping our defense much this year. I mean, he's still, in my opinion, he's the best defense player in the league, but he wasn't helping our defense very much this year. Let's see. I thought since Lakers, since they last 30 games, they would lock in. Lakers bad. Yeah, they definitely didn't lock in, and that was incredibly, incredibly frustrating. Let's see. Locking up LaMelo. My God. Let's see. Let's see. Look at Braun and AR. They really want to get Luka involved, and Luka can't get a bucket. Again, it's early. Give it time. Stay patient. Again, can we give him 10, 15 games before we start? Like if we're 15, 20 games in, and he's still playing like this offensively, then we'll talk. But again, like context matters. Yeah, they were hunting him because he had 5 fouls. They weren't hunting him until he got the 5th foul. Then he got the 5th foul. They were hunting him because they were trying to get him out the game. And they knew he couldn't be as aggressive defensively. So that's why they were hunting him. They were going after him on the defense side. Tyler, I'm done. Lakers are garbage. We'll never be good again. I'm just done. Luka is bust, and Mavs absolutely robbed us. AR, my hope for this team is gone, and we're worse than the Suns. I don't know about that. Again, too many. It's not crazy overreact. I understand the frustration, but let's see. Why was Luka taking the ball out? Almost no chance it gets it back. Because do you want to make sure that ball doesn't go to a Hornets team? And he was our worst 3-point shooter tonight, so he probably wasn't taking that shot, regardless. And you got to watch out for the handoff, so they were worried about the handoff. Andrew, Shea was better than Luka before these L's, to be honest. I think it was debated. I definitely think that there's a debate. I've talked about it. I thought Luka was better before he came to Lakers. But I understand the argument with SGA. I can see people's comparison, right? Like, I think best version of Luka is just better than the best version of Shea. But Shea has been – he should win the MVP this year. So if you want to put SGA over Luka, fine, right? But, to pretend like Luka isn't a top 3 to 5 player at worst, right? So let's say SGA, right? You're talking Jokic, Giannis, SGA, Luka. He's still the 4th best player in the league, right? So, again, I think we'd be fine, right? He'll be fine. He'll figure it out. But I appreciate it. Again, G-Man, the guy missed 7 weeks. He had stretches like this last year when he missed 5 weeks with Dallas, and he came back and had a 3 for 15 game, and then I think it was like a 6-for-22 game or something like that, and they lost both of those games, and Dallas was like, oh, and guess what? He got right back, and then they went to the final. It happened. Let's see. He's been playing fine. He's just, again, there's more to game. There's more to basketball than the offense, right? He's literally done everything else. He literally came up huge for us with that offensive rebound, got the putback, got us the lead, and then we blew it on the other side, right? And that wasn't Luka's fault that we blew it on their side. Guy just didn't rotate, right? Guy got caught sleeping. Luka's literally done everything else perfectly, except for shoot the basketball. It's literally the only thing. Like, LeBron had this stretch, a month ago or 2 months ago, whatever it was, right? LeBron was 0 of 21 from 3 and everything like that. And people weren't like, oh, LeBron's cooked. He's the worst player in the league, right? Everyone was defending how bad he was playing. And I was critical of him. But he also wasn't on a brand new team trying to figure stuff out and didn't miss 6 weeks. Like, LeBron just had the stretch where he was just bad. Right, he had that game where he had, like 11 points on, what was it, 3 of 20 shooting? Something crazy like that. It was like one of the worst games he's had in 20 years. Right? Like, again, it happens. Let's see. AR getting ejected didn't cost the game. Again, we had the lead on several occasions in the fourth quarter. We blew it. Let's see. Have we even won any game where Reeves didn't play the whole game? I don't understand what you're asking. Have we even won any game where Reeves didn't play the whole game? Are you talking about if Reeves sits out? Have we won? Yeah, we won. I mean, last year he didn't miss a game. This year he's missed 3, something like that, and we won, I believe, 1 or 2 of them. And then this is his first ejection, so this has never happened. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, done in the super chat. Cosmin coming out with the super chat. I don't see a comment. Did you have a comment, buddy? I'll keep an eye out for it if you got it. Yeah, I don't see. If you were just doing it to support, then I appreciate it. I'll keep an eye out on the chat. We need some frustrating merch. I appreciate that. I get asked periodically why I don't do merch or anything. I just if I'm gonna do it, I want to actually make money on it. I just don't think I'm big enough to where it would make sense. Right? I don't and I know Teespring and all these other things, it's print on demand. But I still if I'm gonna invest money into designs, because I can't draw, so I'd have to put money into designs and do all this other stuff. I want to make sure that I actually and I don't I want to do I want to create ideally a line that is that even if you're not a fan of me and the show, right, you'd still want to buy, right? I don't want yeah, I know some people might buy, as it stands Lakers shirts, right? But how many people are really going to buy that? How many people really want to walk around with my YouTube channel name on it? Probably not very many, if any. There might be people that just buy it just to support me. No, I want to create an actual line, cool shirts, stuff like that. And my thing is, if I'm going to do that, I want it to be profitable, right? I don't want to be spending, $1,000 a month or whatever on designs and stuff, and then I'm making, I get 10 people that buy a shirt every month, and I've lost a bunch of money. So everything's a process. I'll get there. Even like channel memberships and stuff like that too, right? Like there's a lot of things that I know like I'm missing money on, but to me I want to do it when it makes sense to do it, right? When I get to like 50, 100,000 subs, then I'll probably look to do some merch and stuff. But I want to, there's definitely like ideas, and I have like ideas written down for when I'm ready to do that. I want it to be worth it. If I'm going to do merch, like I want people being like, oh yeah, let me cop that, right? Like that's my thing. Let me see. Oh, I saw Cosmin. All of y'all that are done with the Lakers, be done and don't come back when they're winning it again. Go to another team. Yeah, again, it's a lot of it is overreaction. Lakers will be fine, right? It's a bad stretch. I hate it. I don't like it, but it's a bad stretch. It'll be fine. That's JJ Redick's fault. You don't have Finney Smith help Luka double the ball and then leave a wide open. No, that's what are you talking about? The coaches do that all the time. That was actually the best. Like, we all knew what LaMelo wanted to do, and you'd rather have LaMelo on an island with JJ Redick or with Luka. I don't like. I would love to hear you ask 5 coaches if that was the wrong decision. I would be shocked if any coach. I'm talking about, you could ask your local rec coach, and if any of them were like, "Oh, that was bad coaching," I would be shocked. No, guys didn't rotate, right? Guys didn't keep an eye on the corner man, right? Like, it got swung and to the corner man. That was Rui's guy that he was supposed to keep an eye on, right? Like, I understand if you want to criticize the overall defense, that's fine, but to say that like Dorian Finney-Smith coming out to get the ball out of his hands was bad coaching, I could not disagree more. I would love to hear somebody make an argument as to why that is. Like, genuinely, I would love to hear somebody, like, why was that a poor decision? Again, guys didn't do their job on the back end to rotate. That's not JJ's fault, right? It's your job to keep an eye on your corner man. JJ's not out there defending. But yeah. Also, LeBron is probably going to be out for tomorrow at Portland. He literally got slapped in the head. That's going to be out, honestly. Plus, Portland is all of a sudden playing great. I mean, he very well could. He might be. We'll see. Time will tell. But, I mean, it might be good if Luka plays. If they both sit, then I'm going to be pretty like, yeah, this might be rough. But if Luka plays, it might be good for him to get into a rhythm. Right? Might be beneficial right now for the Lakers to sit LeBron and play Luka and let Luka just go be you, right? And just kind of let him play. Let's see. We need to change the lineup. I agree with that. I do agree with that. That ejection was BS. It was a terrible ejection. Let's see. Dorian Finney-Smith should start. I agree. Dorian Finney-Smith should start. Why double open 3? Again, to get the ball out of the best player's hands, who was killing you the last 4 possessions. Agreed. LeBron had the perfect teammate. That was AD. All Lakers needed was Levine, but I won't give up hope yet. But the problem is, too, you got to keep in mind, is that LeBron wanted AD to be the guy, and AD was just never the guy. Luka, I trust, will be the guy. Let's see. Oh, got another super chat. Let me pull this up. David, coming out the final super chat. Thank you so much. Again, bad roster construction last 4 years. Getting Luka is a steal, but we could have had Daniel Gafford last season. Not a great team for anyone to fit in. Yeah, but I mean, this year is understandable, right? Like, last few years was the frustration. Although, I mean, 2023, the roster construction was fine, and we ended up going to the conference finals, given the circumstances. But you needed to make some changes. You needed to make some upgrades, and they didn't. Right? Last year was just abysmal. The thing is, like, we don't know, like, what would the Lakers have done if they wouldn't have gotten Luka, right? Like, things probably are very different if they don't get Luka, right? But you get Luka, you had to trade AD, you knew the roster was going to be a little questionable. I just think Luka and LeBron are good enough to kind of offset that, right? And we'll see. Time will tell, right? I mean, it could go abysmal. It could go great. I don't know, right? That's why I've said, like, I want to be patient. Right, Luka's having his struggles right now. He just got back, played 3 games in 7 weeks, right? And he's on a brand new team, right? I want to see how this plays out first before, we're ready to grab our pitchforks and call Luka a bum. right? Like it's wild, this Luka slander. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, I mean, I would have liked to get Daniel Gafford last year. I think the Lakers should have probably gotten Daniel Gafford. Like, thing is that the Lakers would have solved the center issue, last year or the year prior, then you would have been great, right? Like Lakers would be in a very different position, but they didn't. They never did, and it's ironic now that that's the position you need the most is the center spot, and it's like if you would have just solved that. But here's the thing, though, too. Daniel Gafford is like, is he? Does he get hurt with the Lakers? Because that's something else, right? Maybe, maybe not, right? So I don't know. It's one of those things. I imagine they address it in the offseason, though. Like, finally, I think if we had to count on them doing something, it'd be that. Again, like he's played 3 games in 7 weeks. Let's slow down, right? Like, I understand the frustration, but to call him a lemon, dude, the guy gave you nearly a triple double. He had a bad game shooting the ball, and he still nearly gave you a triple double. If a bad game is 14, 11, and 8, like, man, I can't wait to see what his good game is. If a lemon is 14, 11, and 8, what does a good game look like, right? Like, God, it is crazy. People really calling him a lemon. And Anthony Davis is out for, like, Lakers probably not even making the playoffs if they had AD right now, because he'd be missing the entire season. Let's see. I do think that they need to change the lineup. Come on, be yourself. It'll get there. Again, he just got back. Literally, can we give him more than 3 games in 7 weeks? Yes, exactly. And missed months, literally months. It is wild. It is crazy to me. I understand people being critical and being like, oh, he had a bad night or a bad game. Fine, that's one thing. But to be like, dude, the guys, to call him a lemon and say that he's trash, like, it is crazy to me. Crazy. And then watch tomorrow against Portland. He drops 40 and everyone's going to be like, Luka! Like, everyone's going to be ready to, oh my God. Let's see. Let's do a couple more and I'll get out of here. Let's see. LeBron is first in playoff buzzer beaters, third all-time overall. LeBron's statistically the clutchest player in NBA history, right? But the last 2 years, he's been one of the worst, right? Like, again, what is he doing now? He had a playoff run where he hit like 5 in like 1 series, right? Like, what was it? Was it Chicago series, right? When he was like with Cleveland or whatever, and he hit like literally like 3 game winners or 3 buzzer beaters. I think it was like 4. I think it was 2 game tying shots and 2 game winners. That was the one where like he missed the free throw and then hit that like falling away crazy shot. But again, the last 2 years he's been awful. Like, he's been one of the worst players in all of basketball in crunch time. Is Luka a lemon? Oh my God. This is crazy. I mean, I figured there'd be some overreaction, but I'm like genuinely shocked at the amount of overreactions. Oh my God, this is crazy. Let's see. We were much better with AD and Max. Again, let's wait and see. AD is hurt right now. I'd rather have a triple double Luka than an AD that's sitting at home. Don't count your chickens just yet. Let's blame LeBron for everything. Everyone's blaming Luka. No one's blaming LeBron. I think you're in the wrong chat. All right, let's do a couple more and we get it. Yeah, we've lost some bad games this season. Bad games, but it's Luka's fault. All right, like, because we haven't lost any bad games earlier. Let's see. See, man, JJ's gonna use his head. put Aaron Rui off the bench. I agree. I think he should do that. Problem is, I don't know if they will. Let's see. I've talked about this too. Or go with Jordan Goodwin if you want for his rebounding and just point of attack defense. What's with the perimeter defense? We only have like 2 defenders, 2 sizable defenders. What are your thoughts on Mark Williams out there on the Hornets? I thought he was okay. I mean, he wasn't like unbelievably good. I mean, he was solid, right? Like he had some moments, he had some blunders, he had a couple of bad moments, a couple good moments. No, I mean, he's a guy that is young, development guy, right? He's not a guy like that would have came in and been a superstar, but Luka would have made him look better, right? Like that's the idea. So him on the Hornets is probably a very different version of Williams than Williams on the Lakers, right? But I mean, he gave you nearly a double-double, 29 minutes, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 of 7 from the floor, 4 of 4 from the foul line, right? He was a -5 overall, but that's because the Hornets were bad earlier in the game and then just like went on a crazy run. I thought he was good, not great, right? I think if he starts to, I think if he was on the Lakers with Luka, I think he'd be much better. I still like him on the Lakers personally. It's just, can he stay healthy? That's the only question. But we'll see. Time will tell. All right, let me do 2 more, and if I can find 2 more. Again, he had 5 fouls, you goober. It's so funny that people say, like, oh, it's always the guy that has something silly to say that literally just didn't watch the game. He had 5 fouls going into the fourth, literally. Like, what are you talking about? Yes, he got hunted the whole fourth quarter because he had 5 fouls. They were trying to foul him out of the game. Get it? Oh, it's always the guy that's like, you don't know ball, that just leaves a silly comment. Go look up how many fouls did he have. How many fouls? Go look up how many fouls he got in the fourth quarter. And look up how many fouls he had total in the game, and then look up how many fouls he had in the fourth quarter. It's always somebody that like leaves a dumb comment that's like that just purposely. I don't understand it. I don't know why people are so confident and being so wrong. It's so crazy. It's always the guy that has the most confidence and the guy that has the most dumb thing to say that just like leaves the most foolish comments. It is crazy. It is crazy to me. Let's see. Let's see. How are you saying Reeves was getting blown by defensively, but Luka was fine on defense when he was literally being targeted? Again, he was being targeted because he had 5 fouls. Again, watch the games. He had 5 fouls. They targeted him because he had 5 fouls. They were trying to foul him out the game. I don't understand why that's so hard, such a hard concept. Again, go to NBA.com, look at how many fouls he had. If you're somebody that thinks like they were targeting him in the fourth quarter, they were, because he had 5 fouls. Like, as soon as he got 5 fouls, boom, they just hunted him every single possession. They put him in the action every single possession, literally. And he wasn't the one that got beat. It was Rui. Got beat twice during those 4 possessions that he got hunted. Right? Again, it's like, what are you talking about? All you have to do is watch the games. Watch the games. If you didn't watch the game, why are you commenting and trying to correct me on the game? It doesn't make any sense. People are funny. We should start Dalton in crunch time. I don't know about that. He's. I mean, we're trying not to play any defense. Huh? Let's see. If you understand basketball, it takes time to adjust to a new team. I'm a coach and know the new player has to get used to new schemes on offense, defense. And he missed 7 weeks. Literally, he's played 3 games in 7 weeks. He missed 6 weeks, came back on minute restriction, played 2 games on minute restriction, then missed another week and had to come back and play another game. Like, can we let the guy get some rhythm? Like, God, it's so funny. It is wild to me. I'm not talking about you, Anthony. I'm agreeing with you, Anthony. I'm just saying, like, it's crazy. Um, let's see. All right, let's do one more. Let's find another good one. Um, let's see. Should have traded Dalton instead of Max. I said the same thing. Or I would have rather trade Dalton or Reeves and kept Max. And you could have traded Reeves and it would have been justifiable. Right? I think he's the only guy that needed to do it. No one cares. Just no one cares. And guess what? You'll be in the next live stream. Like, dude, if you need attention, just ask for attention. No one cares about what you have to say. Like, no one cares, right? Like, why is it always, why do people always have to announce stuff? Like, oh, I'm unsubbing because you're a diss writer, right? Like, again, no one cares. If you're gonna unsubscribe, unsubscribe. Like why do you need to scream it from the rooftops? No one cares. We'll all be fine, I promise. Without you trolling literally every live stream, you're trolling in every live stream. And I'm still talking to you because I know you're still here. Because you're in every live stream and all you do is troll. No one cares that we lost the troll in the chat, I promise. And I am extremely confident you'll be in the next stream. Everyone, keep an eye on Up for real, for real. Why do people always gotta announce stuff? Like, kid, just say what you gotta say and be done. I'd rather you just be like, I need attention. Please give me some. Like, it's so silly. People are funny. Mavs wanted Max over Dalton. Yeah, they did. Because they wanted defense. That was their whole thing. Like, oh, we want to be a defensive team. We want to be a defensive team. We want to be a defensive team. Alex, no, Up for real, don't go, please. Up for real is definitely a 12-year-old kid. He has to be 100%. Literally, he's in every live stream crying, right? But he's in all of them, right? Like, if you really don't like me, then just why are you in the stream? Like, just go elsewhere. It'll be fine. We'll all be okay. We'll all move on without Up for real, right? Like, it's so silly to me. Like, it's hilarious. Like, I promise we'll all survive without Up for real. Man, it's just like God. And just again the comments that he leaves, it's hilarious. It's crazy how many I get like that though, like regularly. And I didn't lose any subs, so he must have not have been subbed. I just checked to see if he really unsubbed. He didn't unsub, so let's see. Oh, Swish coming out $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Coming in hot. Thank you. Brutal loss. I swear every time Braun brings up back, we lose on free throws. Dude, you got to at least give me one of those, right? Like, you got to at least give me one of those free throws. Starting five has big issues on defense. I agree. My opinion, Gabe for Reeves and Dorian Finney-Smith for Rui. Hornets were also targeting Luka. Need to figure that out. Again, they were targeting him a lot more because he had 5 fouls, so he couldn't be aggressive. They did a good, like, again, Rui didn't swing in the corner, man. He was supposed to swing in the corner, man, and he didn't. Right? They kept isolating Luka, swinging him in. Teams do that against him and Kyrie, and Dallas was able to figure it out. Lakers will figure it out. Got to do a better job not getting in foul trouble if you're Luka. That's 2 straight games he got 5 fouls. But I would rather an overly aggressive Luka than a Luka not even trying on defense, right? Like, which is something that he's not great at, right? Like, it's something that he's like historically been terrible at. I just like, can he at least stay in front of guys and play defense, you know? So again, I'm not really worried about it right now. We'll wait. I want to wait and see, like, how does he look as as a like when he's able to be aggressive and stay defensively. Like I said, they were really heavily targeted. As soon as he got those 5 fouls, boom, they were hunting, trying to get him out the game. As far as the starting unit goes, yes, I think that they need to change it up. I've been very adamant from literally the moment they traded for Luka. I think personally, the best balance is probably Luka, Jordan Goodwin, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James, and Jackson Hayes, right? And the reason I like Jordan Goodwin is because now you have better balance in your starting unit too, right? Because my problem with Gabe Vincent in the starting unit is he's small. Like, yeah, Luka's bigger for a guard, but he's small. I think you need like more physicality, more size to defend at the guard position. So to me, I'd rather go like you could say Jared Vanderbilt, but the reason I like the idea of Jordan Goodwin is one, his rebounding, two, his defense, his toughness, diving for loose balls. But he's a guy that now Jared Vanderbilt gets to come in for Dorian, right? So basically, what you do is, Reeves subs out for Luka, Gabe Vincent subs out for, Jordan Goodwin subs out for Gabe Vincent. So you got Gabe Vincent, Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt subs out for Dorian Finney-Smith. Then you have Rui sub out for LeBron. Now he gets to play more of his natural four. And you have Alex Len sub out for Jackson Hayes, right? Or you could just go with the 9-man rotation, however you want to do it. Go small, whatever, right? I just think that gives you much better balance. So your 5-man rotation is, again, Luka, Goodwin, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron, and Hayes, with Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and Alex Len. And then you can kind of switch. You could like, hey, we need more defense. Let's go with Jared Vanderbilt and Jordan Goodwin with Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Like you can kind of mix and match pieces, right? However you want to. So that's probably the approach that I'd go. But anyway, thank you, Swish. I appreciate you. I'm going to skate on out of here. I've been going over an hour. Again, let's be patient, everyone. I understand. Talk about all the time the pendulum swing. Right? Can we let Luka play more than 3 games in 7 weeks before we criticize him and talk about him being trash? Luka will be fine. He literally did everything else that you wanted him to do. Right? Like the last thing we should be worried about is Luka's offense. Right? The guy is averaging 28 points a game this year. Right? Like the last thing I'm worried about is Luka's offense. He gave you nearly a triple-double on a poor offensive night. What does he look like when he's actually half decent offensively and not like unplayably bad? So he rebounded the ball excellent. He cleaned up the turnovers. He had like 5 turnovers in like 7 possessions and then just had 1 the rest of the way. So he cleaned up the turnovers, right? Like let him get his legs under him. Let him figure it out. We'll be fine. Can he play more than 3 games in 7 weeks before we go, oh, he's trash? Like they sold us a lemon. I understand being critical. I understand the overreactions, but not everything is warranting an overreaction. This is a bad loss, a really bad loss. I'm not happy about this loss by any stretch of the imagination. But again, like you got to keep things in perspective. All right. But anyway, as always, let me know. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are beautiful. Everyone that gave me super chats, thank you so much. I really do appreciate super chats. It helps me out a ton. Seriously, you guys have no idea. Everyone that was here, I appreciate you. Hit the like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button on your way out if you're not subscribed. And I will see you all tomorrow. All right, we got another game tomorrow. Let's get